This podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors. Your San Diego County Toyota dealers. We've got what it takes. Fix Auto. Corky's Pest Control. And Lolita's Family of Restaurants.
What's happening, sports fans? Welcome to another week of the San Diego Prep Insider Golf Podcast. I am Christian Pedersen. This is PGA member and Francis Parker coach Jacqueline. Coach, good to see you. Oh, we're so good at that now. We're so good at that now. I don't care if we're not good at any sort of golf coverage. We got the handshake down. That's the start of it.
That's it.
So we're kind of in the midst of the weird spring break gap that happens in the middle of the season. Sweetwater schools were on break last week. The San Diego Unified and a couple of the privates are on break this week. North County next week. It doesn't make any sense. It kind of throws golf into a weird nether region where not everyone's playing, but we still got some game balls. We got a quick night of golf. We've got an interview. So let's get it started. You got some interesting shout outs for a kid from Modern Day.
I do. We've got Jose Olazabal, who's a senior with Mater Dei, and he's only played 6 matches so far this season. We're close to the halfway mark, but 5 of those 6 have been under par, or even one of them even par. So really a nice performance and someone to keep an eye on when we get closer to CIF.
Let's keep it going with a couple more individual shout-outs. We're going to do a little bit more of an individual than a team thing, because we've talked about it's a back-and-forth sport like that.
Right. We have Joey Versick, who plays for Christian, another team that we don't hear a lot of about as a team, but he's off to University of Nevada at Reno, D1 golf school. He'll be there on scholarship. We're excited to see him, another player from San Diego at the next level. He's been playing really well and shot a 33 in a loss this week, but again, he's someone with his length that could have a really good go of it in CIF as an individual player.
I've honestly fallen in love with that aspect of this sport. Admittedly, not knowing a whole lot about golf before starting this podcast, but now to every week be talking about, well, this team is doing that, but this kid is doing that. It's a much more inclusive county-wide type sport. And let's actually go ahead and include one of your players, who we're going to now bring out to introduce our first golf interview for the podcast. Francis Parker is now labeled as the Cinderella team of San Diego, and you are part of that. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Chase Smallwood.
Chase, I'll ask kind of a co-question to both of you, but I'll have you answer first. Tell us a little bit about what the vibe has been like this season for you guys out on the course and what's been working so well for you guys.
Well, we've definitely remained positive. You know, we had a really rough start to the season. We lost a couple of matches, didn't shoot our best scores, but since we've been rolling, so that's been great. I feel like we have a really good team dynamic. All the players are starting to hit their stride in the right part of the season, and again, like Coach mentioned, it's all about CIF. So we're working on peaking towards the end of the year tournament. So I think we're going to be in really good shape when it all comes around.
Well, and let's talk about that grind towards playing your best golf at the end of the season. How does that mentality go with you? Said you had some tough losses at the beginning of the year. What are you saying to yourself when you're walking off the course after a rough day to help bounce back?
Well, we're just looking forward to the future. We have a really talented team. You know, we have 4 seniors and a sophomore, and we have a couple of freshmen that are gonna come up next year. So we have an older team. You know, we're veterans. We've all been there. We've all played, tons of matches. So we're all looking forward to the future, and I think we've been there before. We've had some success at CIF, and we've had some failures at CIF. So we're really looking to use our past experience and move forward.
Now, for you personally, what's going to be the key to your game down the stretch?
I just got to play within myself, and I just got to make sure that I'm trying to play my game and going out there and shooting my best scores and make sure I'm rolling the ball in the hole and just trying to play within myself. And I know, how my talent can transpire, so I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a great end of the year.
Coach, you going to condition him a little extra for this one, or do you nail the interview?
He nailed it. I mean, Chase has lifted his game this year. He's, as a person and as a player, I couldn't be more proud of that. I mean, life's a journey, and he's sure on the right trajectory. He's our low player this year so far, and I see him just continuing to get better. So.
You guys got practice today, or what's the plan for today? Where are you going to go golf?
Oh, we're headed to the course. We're going to go hit it up and then hopefully watch the March Madness game at the end. So it's going to be a good day. We're going to get out on the course and try to work towards our match tomorrow.
All right, well, if you see someone sitting in the sand trap, that's me with the nice umbrella hat and a fruity drink. I tend to get lost there when I try to go golfing. That, and for whatever reason, I will be able to find any sort of water feature. Like, even if it's not on the same golf course, I'll hook it right across the freeway. Yeah. Well, good. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for stopping by. Best of luck the rest of this season.
See you later.
All right, so Coach, let's get to our quick 9 now. As always, starting Division I, work our way down. I feel like I'm a broken record. Tell me about Torrey Pines, yada, yada, yada. The Falcons are still the best in the world, I'm assuming?
They are. Another good week for them, although they rested their top 4 this week, and they still managed, of course, to have 3 wins and went a little deeper in their lineup, and it was a good experience for them to get to play some matches too, so still around the par number.
And this is the kind of thing where even though we're talking about some of these schools are and aren't on spring break, and so there's a weird bit of a schedule. You got to keep that pace on. You still got to be golfing because this is a mental sport where you can't take a day off and expect to be able to bounce back the next day and find form.
And this is part of the, we're coming into the home stretch of the season, and so most of the schools, including ours, will have a lot going on over spring break, and many of the players will be participating.
One last shout out to golf superfan Cade Kinney Shackelford from Torrey Pines. Cade, thank you very much for watching our podcast. The spot's open for you, buddy. As soon as you want to come join us here Monday at 2:15, Francis Parker, you're more than welcome to come be a guest host. Let's keep it going. Rancho Bernardo, tell me about the Broncos.
They're also not playing all their top players, but they also managed 3 wins, and Jin, one of their top players, had a wonderful 31 versus Saints. So, boy, that's some shooting.
Is there something to be said about giving your lower part of your roster a little bit of a chance to shine during the middle of the season so that you have an option or two going into CIF?
Absolutely, especially, it is a team sport and there's unforeseen things that happen. So it's nice to have a little more depth.
All right, let's keep on moving. Tell me about Carlsbad right now.
Carlsbad continuing their winning ways. Another win this week, and again, just a really well-balanced team, and so I expect them to do well into the postseason.
Now, in all of this, when you're talking about well-balanced, it's not just top to bottom their roster, but it's actually their physical shooting. They're a team that can tee off well. They're a team that can play short game well. What do you look for, though, in all of these teams that really says that's a team that stands out? What aspect of the game is most important?
Well,
or is that just too loaded of a question to answer?
There you go. That's a little bit loaded, but because all aspects are important. But half the shots are putts, and so I'm someone that thinks that playing from the green out is paramount in our game, and if they're good putters, it can make up for a lot of other things. So
So sort of work backward type mentality, like got to nail the small details, and then we'll teach you how to blast it off the tee Happy Gilmore style later.
There you go, Happy Gilmore style. I love it.
All right, let's keep on going before I throw in too many non-golf jokes. Down to Division II, LCC.
Yeah, La Costa Canyon, they continue to lead D2, and as we've talked about before, what's really interesting is that this is a team that's led by freshmen and a couple of sophomores sprinkled in. So, gosh, this is going to be a really strong team in the future.
This is your chance to get on the bandwagon now before they run away with it.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good team. They're scoring well, and they're right up there. So, I think this is a team to watch.
Well, it's been kind of fun talking about when we were first here a couple weeks ago talking about these freshman-led teams. It was kind of a little bit of a sizzle factor, like, oh, this is really interesting. But now it's become a legitimate thing that every single week we're talking about this new generation has taken over, and they are not letting go of their grip on San Diego golf.
Not at all, and play continues to be outstanding. I mean, even at Torrey, we had a couple freshmen start this week for them when they sat their top 4, and some really fine performances, 36s, 38s, and so these kids can flat out play.
Let's keep moving on. Cathedral Catholic, tell me about the Dons.
The Dons had a couple of wins over the Saints this week, and
everyone beating up on Saints this week.
I know. I'm sorry about that. It's a good school, a lot of good players. So
just wrong place, wrong time this week.
That's it, and that's golf. We just never know what's going to come out for our teams. But this is a team that's led really by seniors, so they have the opposite situation of what we got some of the others. So it'll be fascinating to see. Cathedral's journey next year.
Okay. Last team in Division II to talk about, La Jolla High School, the ex-Cinderella team, now just a good team.
They are, and they were on break last week, so they actually didn't see any action, so held their position.
All right. Very easy for me to talk about then. On to Santa Fe Christian, one of the hybrid teams, a team that features both male and female golfers.
You know, in Santa Fe Christian, we had a chance to play them this week, and really a lot of fine players on that team. I mean, they were dominant in their performance at home, shot 186 as a team, just a great score. Interesting also, they have moved up to the number 7 position overall. So a D3 team, small school, and 7th in CIF. So,
well, but that's the kind of thing where we talked about that they don't need to be physically. It's not a sport where you match up on somebody. You're not out there like, oh, we're intimidated. No. Play your game, put the blinders on, and go out and golf.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of good players on that team, so excited what they're doing and expect to see a lot more out of them as well.
A couple more teams down in D3 that are also real exciting. D3 to me in all sports is really always very interesting because that's where you can kind of pick and choose these little nuggets of that team is really good and they have tons of room to grow because you can move up to D2 and then D1. It's not, oh, they're maxed out, they're a D1 team, their only hurdle left is Torrey Pines. These are schools that we're going to see a massive amount of growth in the coming seasons. Tell me about Country Day and then Sage Creek.
So Country Day is also playing really well. They had a one-shot victory over Parker here last week. Again, they've got a lot of nice young players, and I think it's they're going to watch as well. They really have some fine play.
Finish it off with Sage Creek.
So Sage Creek was on break this week, so we're giving them some time off. Rest at the crossing, but I think that we'll see if their game is going to travel as well as it does at home.
That's a whole other thing that we'll get into maybe next week on the podcast is how big of a difference does one home field advantage make versus the other, because golf is a really unique version of that. You know, every football field has a little maybe different vibe. Every basketball court has a different fan section. Like the baseball field that we're in front of, you got a short porch and left there. But golf, you're literally taking dogleg left where it was dogleg right, sand trap where there was nothing. So we'll maybe get into that in the future. Let's just finish on tell me what the week is going to look like for the Lancers.
So we've got a match with Country Day, and then we play Bishop. So big week for us. I'm really excited. The team, we've now had 4 of our last 6 rounds in the 190s, actually one of those 187. I feel like the team is just starting to hit its stride.
It's warm. I don't know if it's the sun or the Lancer golf, baby. It's nice and warm here.
So what a wonderful group of young men. I just couldn't be prouder to be part of this team. So I'm excited to see how this week goes.
Well, thank you very much for having one of them join us today. And Coach, best of luck this week.
Thank you, Christian.
Folks, we will be back, as always, next week with more insight on actually, I'm going to say it, the really, really interesting world of high school golf. I am fully converted. I'm gonna go get some Argyle socks and a vest to match you next week.
Get some knickers on. We'll have it all set.
Absolutely, I'll show up with one of those. Oh my goodness, folks! I'm gonna go hit the golf shop and shank some balls into a net somewhere, and we will see you guys next week.